Mr. Speaker, I stand before you today to offer an apology to former students of Indian residential schools. The treatment of children in Indian residential schools is a sad chapter in our history. In the 1870s, the federal government, partly in order to meet its obligations to educate Aboriginal children, began to play a role in the development and administration of these schools. Two primary objectives of the residential school system were to remove and isolate children from the influence of their home, families, traditions, and cultures, and to assimilate them into the dominant culture. These objectives were based on the assumption that Aboriginal cultures and spiritual beliefs were inferior and unequal. Indeed, some sought, as was infamously said, to kill the Indian in the child. Today, we recognize that this policy of assimilation was wrong, has caused great harm, and has no place in our country.
We live in a society where a simple apology makes up for years of cruelty. At least that's what they'd like to believe. We live in a society where no real effort is made to fix what was once broken, where all actions are said to have consequences. And although these actions were not ours, somehow we paid the consequences for their actions for centuries to come. For years, our teachings and practices served us well. Not only did we survive, but rather thrived in our natural environment. One day, they decided that they weren't good enough, that we weren't good enough. Not our culture, not our beliefs, nor practices, not our way of living. They decided that we were savages, heathens, pagans, that we needed their guidance and direction. Who gave them the power to do that? No matter, it became their mission to take the Indian out of the Indians. And just like that, we were lost. Hundreds shipped off to residential schools, isolated from our families, communities, tribes, stripped of our traditions, culture, and pride. We were forced to become people we'd never known. Being an Indian is all about being kind, gentle, respectful, honest, and honorable. But they couldn't understand that, so they sought out to control it, change it, destroy it. No longer were we able to dress, speak, or behave as we had our entire lives. Instead, we were put in white costumes, given white names, and expected to behave in a white manner. This resulted in the devastating loss of our identities. Not only did their invasion of our land destroy our culture and traditions, it hurt our youth in unimaginable ways. The white man's domination left today's youth caught between two choices, two cultures, two lifestyles. The traditional way or the white man's way. Their presence turned our children, our descendants, our successors into apples. Red on the outside, but white on the inside. Everyone became caught up with the new and shiny aspects of the white man's world and struggled with maintaining their connection with their roots, their history, their traditions. Unfortunately, this resulted in the devastating loss of their sense of identity as well. Being caught between two worlds isn't easy, and with all the white man's new technology, new advances, and new ideologies, it was hardly a fair fight. There's not many real Indians anymore, traditional peoples. With the white man's invasion came their infestation of conflicts, diseases, and wars. This lack of tradition present makes it harder for our youth to learn about their peoples, their traditional way of life, their legacy. The white men really had their way with us. They took our land, killed our people, influenced us with their new tools and products, and placed all that was left of us onto these reserves. Their presence hurt our people, broke us apart, killed our culture, destroyed the balance we maintained with the world. Decade after decade, generation after generation, we were infiltrated and broken down from within. And what were we given as retribution for the pain and suffering they caused? A couple dozen welfare checks and a simple apology? We will never recover from them. Yet somehow, they never understood that. Understood us. They never even tried. So this is for them. For the white men that want to believe a simple apology forgives everything. It doesn't.